Hey guys, we're here back at the IEDC annual conference in Denver with a good friend of mine. Would you mind taking a second to introduce yourself, tell us who you are, who you're with, and kind of what your role is?
Sure. My name is Juan Pablo Alcantar. I'm Director of the Economic Development Department at the Port of Tuxpan in Mexico. That's the closest port to Mexico City on the Gulf of Mexico. We're focusing right now on investment attraction also and economic diversification.
Very cool. How long have you been in the economic development sphere?
I've been in it for about 12 years so far. So like everyone else, I fell on it. It wasn't something that I thought about when I was young. I just fell on it, and I saw how everybody else was doing it.
Yeah.
They were very professional in the U.S., and I decided to do the same and bring it back home to Mexico. So
Yeah,
that's why I'm here.
that's awesome. Well, I feel like you hit it best. I kind of fell into it. Might be the most common phrase I hear talking to economic developers, but I think it shows that when you do fall into it, people fall in love with it as well.
Yes, I was working previously on macroeconomic and analysis and reports, and to be honest, maybe some of those reports didn't get read. And so I decided to focus on something that I could actually plan, design, and see, and watch it being implemented and see the metrics and the results. And that gave me personal satisfaction, so that's why I kept doing it, and that's why I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So I love the profession, I enjoy it, and it's very rewarding as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And being in here for over a decade, you've seen a lot of things, I'm sure. How have you seen the landscape of economic development change?
Okay, so I travel all over the world because I do site consulting, and I've been pretty much in every continent and every region, and everybody approaches it differently. To be honest, I'll say US and Canada have the most developed profession so far. And one of the things that I'm seeing is technology-led economic development. So there's more softwares out there, there's mapping, there's ways to generate information and do analysis. Previously, we used to do it by ourselves using our Excel and send out surveys and go out there and meet with the companies and then gather that information, do the analysis, and then the reports. Right now, you can get those reports in seconds, in a matter of seconds, using softwares. And I see the profession going in a more digital way, and at the same time using artificial intelligence as well. But that's going to change a lot because, one, those softwares need to be accessible for everyone around the world, not just one place. And then you have the problem with data. How do you gather data for those softwares? So I do see that the developed world is moving more into that, using softwares, while developing nations are still far away from being able to afford the softwares for economic development. So,
Sure. Yeah, it's changed a lot recently, and I can only imagine the next decade is going to be pretty crazy change-wise as well.
Yes, we were just doing a training in one of the sessions, and they said, you know what, you need to do a pitch about your community for 30 seconds. Somebody did it in about probably 30 seconds, and they just wrote to ChatGPT, and it gave them the entire script. It's very easy to do. It's very easy to implement technologies in something that is just marketing and promotion, and just to see that the way the profession is going in that way, in more technological, more advanced, more technical, and it's something that I love, and it's good to see it in practice.
Yeah, absolutely. So, industrial or retail, what's the focus of your community?
Well, the focus of my community is that we're a port, and we have been growing since 2016. We had our container terminal, and now we need warehousing. But what's the issue with warehousing? Mexico is right now big. It has a high demand for warehousing and spec buildings. And every company, American industries, they're all working on building new warehousing, but mostly on the northern part of Mexico. That's where the FDI is mostly going to. And the central part, which is the manufacturing region of Bajío, which is many states together. I'm on the Gulf of Mexico, so to try to bring an investment that we know it's a business.
Yeah.
They know it's a business because we have received investors and they know it's a business. But to have them separate some money to actually invest there when they still have a lot of market in those regions, it's very challenging. So right now we're focusing on spec buildings so we can bring that line manufacturing part to the port.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Now, to finish up, I'd argue the most important question is, are you willing to share one piece of advice that either you've been given or that you have for someone in economic development, whether they're new, whether they're seasoned?
Yes, and there's a big one. Humility, because we don't know it all, and there's always someone out there who's innovating something. And to be honest, to come here open-minded, it doesn't matter how many years of experience you have and how much you have transformed a city, you're still going to learn from anyone. It could be a young guy, right, just got into a profession, and he brings a skill set that it hasn't been applied before, and suddenly he's innovating the way to map, suddenly he's innovating the way to do analysis. So that humility, doesn't matter how many years of experience you have, you'll always learn something at each conference or from anyone. So like we say, economic developers is a composition of many skill sets that people bring bring to the field, and you never know how they can surprise you. It's incredible to see a young guy just come into the profession and suddenly, hey, I know how to market better in LinkedIn or on Facebook, or I know how to do videos better. So that innovation, that energy, that skill set, it's transforming the profession, to be honest.
I will say you're the first person to give that answer. There's a lot of great ones, but I really do respect what you just said, and I couldn't agree more. There's always a better way to do something, and that's okay.
Yes, and we're seeing it here all the time. You see the exhibitors here, you see the softwares that are coming up, and some of them are initiatives from young guys who said, you know what, I can do this in a better way. So yeah, it's always changing. It's innovating fast, to be honest. So I think it's faster than what we can keep track of, but it's exciting. It's exciting times for the economic development profession.
I'd certainly agree. Well, thanks so much. Have a great rest of your show, and appreciate your time.
Thank you, Matthew.